Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about fractions, how to multiply them and how to divide them. Let's get into it right now.
It's like every day.
I have two multiplication questions here, so let's take the first one. So here we have 5/6 times 1/3. The beauty of multiplication and multiplying fractions specifically is that you simply go straight across from left to right. So 5 times 1, let's put our little equal sign here. So 5 times 1, that's going to give us a 5. And 6 times 3 is 18. Then you have to look at the fraction and see if it needs to be simplified or reduced, right? So is there a times table that satisfies both 5 and 18 at the same time? No. So this is the answer for this first question. 5/6 times 1/3 is 5/18. Now let's look at the one at the bottom. So we have 8/10 times 10/12. So we say straight across 8 times 10, that will give us 80. And then 10 times 12 would give us 120. Now if we look at this fraction, can this fraction be simplified or reduced? Well, yes, because you can see they both end in 0. So 80 and 120 are both in the 10 times table. And instead of just dividing by 10, what we could do is just go ahead and cancel the zeros up and down, and that will leave us 8/12. Now 8/12 definitely can be reduced, because if you look at the 4 times table, the 4 times table does have 8 and 12 in it. So we're going to divide both of them by 4. And then 8 divided by 4, what would that give us? Or what times 4 is 8? That will give us a 2 in the numerator position. 12 divided by 4, or what times 4 is 12? And that will give us a 3. So 8/10 times 10/12 gives us an answer of 2/3. Now, when we're dividing fractions, there are two strategies to actually solve it, but today I'm going to use the keep, change, flip method. And let's see what that involves. So the first question, we have 7/9 divided by a half. And what you do is, the keep means you keep the first fraction, you change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and then you flip or reciprocate the last fraction. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So keep the first fraction, 7/9, change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and then flip the last one. So it's 2/1 now instead of 1/2. That way you can go ahead now and multiply straight across, right? So 7 times 2, that will give us 14. And 9 times 1 is 9. Now this is an improper fraction, because you cannot have the numerator more than the denominator, because the denominator is usually the whole part, right? So what we have to do here is we have to say, how many times does the 9 go into the 14? Right? How many groups of 9 can we get out of the 14? So 9 can go into 14. We got 1 time. And then what's left over? So 1 times 9 is 9. How far are you away from 14 from the 9? Right? So we are 5 away. So that becomes our new numerator. And then you repeat your denominator here. So we end up from an improper fraction to a mixed fraction. And that gives us 1 5/9. Let's take a look at the second question here. So here we have 1/3. And that's divided by the same thing, 1/3. But we're going to use the keep, change, flip method. So the 1/3, the first fraction is going to remain 1/3. We change the division to a multiplication, and then you flip the last fraction. So instead of 1 over 3, it will become 3 over 1. Now we can go ahead and multiply across from left to right. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then 3 times 1 is also 3. Now when you have a fraction where the numerator and the denominator are the same, that means that that is a whole part, because 3 goes into itself 1 time. So the answer here is 1. The beauty of multiplying or dividing fractions is that you don't have to find the LCM, or the lowest common multiple. You just go straight across for multiplication, and for division you just use the keep, change and flip method. Let me know what you think of either of these methods. Like, comment and subscribe with that notification bell so you know every time I upload, which is every Wednesday. And I will see you next time in another math video. Thank you for watching. Class dismissed.
Every day.